Coming up next on City Corner, we have something very, very special for you, and it's all about playgrounds. So stay tuned. We'll see you in a minute. I'm Sarah Bernard. Welcome to City Corner here in St. Louis, and we've got some really exciting things to talk about today. And it's really about playgrounds and thinking about play differently and children with disabilities and all abilities. So we've got so much to learn today from our special guest here. But before we get into that, I want you to watch this video that's going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, and it's really special. So take a look now.
We have a tagline that we use that I've loved throughout the years, and it's where limitations are forgotten and differences are celebrated. I can't change my son. I can't change the differences that you see, but what an amazing thing if we can start to celebrate those differences.
I can just let Gracie go and drive, and kids will just come up and talk to her. But at other playgrounds, you won't see that happen. But there's just something magical about these playgrounds.
Braden is a 12-year-old autistic boy. His disabilities is basically nonverbal and the autistic spectrum. Kids like my son and kids with special needs absolutely have an equal opportunity to play on this playground.
So my son was born with a disability that puts him in a wheelchair, and pretty much everything we do is difficult for Zach. Inclusive playgrounds suddenly started to break down those barriers. The little kids don't care anymore. They realize that Zach can do absolutely everything they can do.
Probably my favorite memory. When all the kids come running in. There you had disabled and mainstream kids side by side playing. You don't see that every day.
Over the years, I've been inspired to continue unlimited play by so many moments that I get to see as families get to watch as their children play for the very first time.
Gracie, how does this playground make you feel?
Natalie Mackay, welcome to City Corner. So glad you're here today to tell us a little bit more about your story. We just saw you in the video with your son, Zachary, and boy, it's a beautiful video. It's hard to watch almost.
It is beautiful and hard. You're
yeah,
right.
Exactly. For me too, and you're Zachary's mother. Let's start from the beginning. Tell us about Zachary. Tell us what inspired you to start Unlimited Play, this organization that is now across the country, but based right here in St. Louis, and we are so privileged to have you here. So tell us your story, if you don't mind.
So Zachary was born with a disability, and when he was diagnosed, he was about 14 months old, and the doctor said he'll never learn to talk or walk. He won't learn his numbers or his colors, and life expectancy will be about 15 years. That moment changed how I looked at life. Mm-hmm. And it took about 1.5 years after that for me to realize his life should be more than doctor's appointments and therapy appointments, but opportunity to play just like every other kid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see how you are still so touched by his story, and it's hard not to be, even for me, just sitting here looking at you and listening and watching that video. So Zachary's life, and Zachary's no longer with us, and he passed a few years ago. You shared that with me.
Yes.
But in his amazing life. He has made a difference to so many children, and he as the inspiration, and you as the implementer, I guess. And I think the story that you heard from those doctors, I mean, that's probably everybody's fear as a parent, but you found a way to embrace and give him a life.
Yeah, he had a vibrant personality. His eyes were full of laughter and excitement, but our world was not created for him. So I wanted to create a place where people could get to know him, get to know the little boy that I loved, and not be fearful of him.
So what was it about playgrounds as your starting point? What was it about that? Because there's so many different ways you could have taken that, his story and his life, and how do we normalize as much as we can? But playgrounds was what you chose to do. Was it because of his age? He was a toddler at that point?
Some because of his age, but play is the first international language we all speak. From infancy throughout adult life, hopefully, we learn about each other through playing together. So an environment where Zach could fly driving his electric wheelchair, could laugh, and kids wouldn't have to worry about why he was different, seemed like the best way.
So take us back to that time. So you wanted him to understand play, to learn from play. And it's so true. There's so much education that is formed through play. There's so much communication, like you said, among internationally. We can the language of play, but children learn so much from seeing how things operate in a playground, from seeing how things operate in toys. It's really, really, really important for them. So you decided play is what he needed to be among other children. And did you not find what you needed? Were there playgrounds that would allow him to be himself, or did you not find that?
No, absolutely not. Not here. Back then, 22 years ago when I started, there was a playground out in Washington, D.C. that I felt like somebody must have known my story and built a project for us, but in the wrong location.
Did you go there?
Of course, absolutely. And
with Zachary?
With Zachary.
Yeah.
And I watched him then. He was using a walker sometimes. So he got out and the surfacing was accessible and he ran through that. And then he went all the way from the bottom up to the tallest slide. But my favorite part was when another little boy came over and they played side by side by just a panel, and it didn't matter. Somebody wanted to come and play with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
kids don't see what we see as adults sometimes, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But that communication between them. But so that was a normalizing moment for you and for Zach and for this other child too.
It truly changed how we went about his entire life. Then, give him the opportunity to play and show people who he is through that.
So then what was your next step? So you went to Washington, D.C., you saw that it existed, you saw that it was possible, you saw how Zachary blossomed in that environment, but we didn't have that here.
So I naively started calling every playground vendor around the nation, asking if I wanted to build an inclusive playground in my backyard. Quickly realized there's no way I could afford that.
Yeah.
So then started reaching out to every city in St. Charles County, asking if they had land, if I handled the fundraising, could we build what we hoped would set a national standard for what should be done.
And what was the reception you got?
Oh, I had several cities in St. Charles County interested. Lake St. Louis was where we chose to build Zachary's Playground. It took us 4 years to raise $750,000. And then opening day, you guys just met Zach's girlfriend, Gracie, in that video that we watched. So they were there, and Zach said, "Mom, you go that way, and I'm going that way." So they had the freedom to go and play that day.
Oh.
Yeah.
How old was Zachary at that time?
Oh, he would have been 7 at that time.
Oh,
Yeah.
he must have been. So was he, like, as you were raising the money and doing all this work, he was somewhat involved. He was aware that this was being built.
He was
in his
very aware. He kind of liked being the local celebrity. That he was being,
And it's called Zachary's Playground to this day, right?
It sure is.
I
Zachary's
love that.
Playground in Lake St. Louis started a national movement.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How many playgrounds are there now from Unlimited Play, your organization?
More than 150 across
Amazing.
the nation. So millions of people now play on inclusive playgrounds that started right here in
How
St.
do you
Louis.
feel about that? I mean, that's powerful.
It is something I never knew was possible. And it also allows me, each and every time we open a playground, which we'll do here in St. Louis in a few weeks,
Yeah.
and this weekend in the Chicago area, I watch families get to play with their children on a playground for the first time, and I hear my son's laughter. He'd be so proud to know that his legacy continues each and every time we do this.
So as he grew to be a teenager, was he aware of the growth of this movement and the playgrounds?
Oh, incredibly aware.
Did he go
of
with
course,
you?
yes. Any opening day he could be at.
Yeah.
And then as his disease progressed, the playground meant so much to him that even on really hard days, he would say he was hurting, but could he please go to his playground?
Oh, so Zachary's playground at Lake St. Louis remained his special place.
Absolutely.
That
Yes.
playground.
Yes, that's what it means to families like mine
Yeah.
and the children that get to play.
Life-changing for
Yes.
everybody in the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so your organization, so you started on the phone from
Yeah.
your kitchen table probably.
Yes.
And what is your organization like today?
Now we have 7 staff members. We have a partnership with Little Tykes Commercial nationally. And we work around the entire nation and in Canada to do exactly this.
And so are people reaching out to you from these cities? Is it the cities that primarily you're that are calling you, or is it families?
I would say we're probably 60-40 split, 60% it's families reaching out saying they have nowhere to play with their own children.
Yeah.
And then cities more and more are realizing the need for
Yeah,
this. So they also reach out.
Well, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. We're going to take a quick break, but it is so important for all children to play at these playgrounds.
Absolutely.
So that is probably the most important message that we can get out. So we're going to take a quick break, Natalie, and when we come back, we're going to not only talk about that, but something exciting happening right here in St. Louis coming up soon. So we'll be right back.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Did you know that you can watch STL TV on your smartphone or tablet? That's right. STL TV is available on your Android or iOS mobile devices. And that includes our live broadcast channels as well as video on demand content. It is really easy to get started. Just find the App Store on your device, then search for Cablecast. Select it and click to install. Launch the app, and if you're in the St. Louis area, STL TV should be the first channel to show up. If you're not in the area, you may have to scroll down to find it. So just click on the STL TV logo, and in just a few seconds, you're enjoying STL TV's great programming such as City Corner, Inside Sports, City Government, What's the 314, or my personal favorite, In the Kitchen.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Welcome back to City Corner. I'm Sarah Bernard, and we are with Natalie Mackay from Unlimited Play, this organization that started right here in St. Louis. We are so proud to have you here as a resident of St. Louis. Started with Zachary's Playground in Lake St. Louis, and now it is an international movement throughout the United States, Canada. And you, Natalie, are Zachary's the inspiration, but you are the implementer of all of these hundreds of playgrounds. And what we were just talking about before we took a break, and I think it's really, really important, is these playgrounds that you're developing that Zachary was the inspiration for with his disabilities, but it's really been instrumental for all children to play together.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that. And we started with saying play is the international language. So what is the language that these kids are all speaking and learning together?
I hope they're learning that we're celebrating differences, right? My son would not be cured, so let's learn what each and every one of us bring. Within that concept, then, probably the misunderstanding that a lot of people have is, will children developing more on a typical scale, whatever that really means, will they still be challenged? Will they find it exciting, or will this playground be really boring?
Yeah, so what have you found?
I found that if you look back on the best playgrounds in St. Louis, Unlimited Play's projects compete with ourselves for that. It is and becomes the destination playground in every community. That for families like mine, if you have children with autism or hearing impairments, visual impairments, you know that you've been thought about when the designs were put together to begin with, not after. But if you're somebody else just looking for a really good playground, it's the best, most exciting place that you want to continually go back.
Do you find that the children who are, as I'm going to use your word, typical children versus the children with disabilities, do you find that they don't really notice the disabilities, or do they have a curiosity that is encouraged?
They have a curiosity, and it's honestly one of my favorite pieces of this. They get away from their parents who often say, don't ask those questions, and they ask the questions. If we don't allow them to, then it gets kind of scary.
And you experienced that with Zachary, right?
I did. There was this beautiful moment at Zachary's Playground. We were having lunch, and I estimate the boy was about 8 years old, and he said, what is wrong with him? And I was so excited. So I explained.
You were excited because?
Because rarely do I get to answer that question, right? So I answered, and he finally said, oh, I don't even care. Can you just come and play now?
So he just wanted to know if you could play with him.
He needed that moment, right? But think about this. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I dream that that boy who is now a man is in a position where he remembers, I played with Zach, who was in a wheelchair on that playground because it was built differently.
Right.
Maybe he's a mayor, an engineer, a landscape architect, and he's making a difference for the next generation because of playing together with my son.
Right, absolutely. Just that bringing this to all children and bringing them together is one of the gifts of Unlimited Play.
Yeah.
So we have another gift that you were bringing to St. Louis, and that is a new playground right in West County. And we're going to take a look at that right now, a video that talks about why it was created and who created it and what to expect, and it's opening next week. So let's take a look at that video right now.
My name is Aaron Gooch, and this is my son, Teddy Gooch. And Teddy, he was born with the most common form of dwarfism. Going since he was younger, meeting all of our friends out on the playground for multiple play dates. They're not adapted enough for someone with any physical challenge, I like to say. It just made it very hard. And all of his friends are running around, and Teddy and I leave our play dates at our playground exhausted. We visited a couple of the all-inclusive playgrounds by Unlimited Play. We get into the car and I start to cry. It was the first time he said that was the best play date I've ever had. So we're looking to build one kind of in the West County area at our very favorite park, Queenie Park. We would love if you can help Teddy and I build an all-inclusive playground for all of our kids to play.
We found the playground.
So Teddy's dream has come true.
Yes. August 24th, we're going to open.
Yay. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So next week, will Teddy be there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just so sweet. And I love what his mom said. Just he left when he would go to the inclusive playgrounds just exhausted and doing exactly what kids are supposed to do.
Right.
And mom's
yes.
chasing. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. That is so great. So it seems also that you're building a community of families that I would imagine they're meeting on the playgrounds, they're helping each other, they're getting to be a part of the unlimited play movement across the country.
Absolutely. Aaron and Teddy put together actually a team of parents that have children with varying disabilities as we went about fundraising throughout the St. Louis area.
Yeah, so a project like that, so Queenie Park is a playground I grew up playing on when I was a kid. It's one of my favorite playgrounds.
Lots of people around here.
Exactly, and it was always kind of out there as like really different and interesting playground and tested the limit, so to speak, and it still obviously is going to do that, which is awesome. So how was that playground chosen? What was what was the process, I guess, that went into play to figure out where to put Teddy's playground and all of the steps?
Yeah, they were looking for somewhere close to home. And similar to how we went about finding Zachary's playground, we called several different cities, what were the opportunities, and Queenie Park, being the destination playground that it is for the entire region, also was loved but needed redone. So it was just the perfect partnership for us.
Was it still the same as when I was playing on it in the 70s?
Almost the same.
Yeah.
Yes. Much loved, but needed to be rehabbed.
Yeah. So she made the phone call. You all made the phone call?
We made the phone call. She called us. Erin called us and told us her dream. And then it was our job from there to find who was the right partner to work with.
And how hard is that at the municipal level, I guess, or the county level, to have those conversations to start? It probably takes a long time, I would imagine.
It does take a while to get through the entire process, have them approve, partnering with us, building on their land, and what that partnership looks like. Yeah.
So give us what's the length of time? Are we talking years, months? Probably.
No, so I would say this project moved fairly quickly. So with the county, we probably spent 6 months really defining contract, design, things like that. And then we launched into fundraising.
Okay. So then how long did that campaign take?
Fundraising campaign, 18 months, 18 months.
Okay,
like that.
so start to finish
process.
Probably around 3 years for the whole
2 years, actually.
For the whole thing, including the construction?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's moved fast. St. Louis responded.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and they had the other playgrounds. How many other playgrounds are in the area? We had Zachary's and Lake St. Louis.
A lot. That's what I'm going to answer. I don't know right now off the top of my head, but
obviously it's proven here.
It has been proven here, and we continually have some of the same donors who say, we love what we've seen you do in that community and we'd like to participate again. Yeah. That's been a fabulous part of St. Louis.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how busy you must be getting opportunities for all children to play together. I love it.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about if you're a parent of small children and you want to obviously take them to these playgrounds to play and also to just encourage their interaction with children with disabilities. What would you encourage those parents to instruct their children or communicate with their children about how to play with children with disabilities? Is there anything parents should be talking to their kids about?
Yeah, I would say look for similarities. So I always loved when kids, with or without their parents, would come up and say hi. Start with something simple. Say hi. And then, depending on the age, Zach loved Spider-Man and Superman, and those kind of conversations. And then start asking, I liked when people ask, why are you in a wheelchair?
Okay.
Right? What So they wouldn't be scared of that.
Right. So,
Yes.
so they, like you were saying before, the child who did ask,
Yes.
is like, oh, I just need to make sure you can play with me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you would
Yeah.
tell parents to encourage their kids to not be afraid to ask questions, to
Yes.
invite those children into their play world, to talk to them about their disabilities.
Yes, absolutely. I think the more we can have conversations and respectful conversations, the more kind of a world we're going to have. We're going to create a place where it's even better.
Yeah. Amazing. So what is next for Unlimited Play? I mean, your growth is really outstanding over, 15 years about?
22 years
22
ago we
years,
started,
okay.
but it took us a while to open our first.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so what's next and what's the 10-year horizon?
Oh, wow. So certainly next is our gala coming up in October.
Okay,
We'd
short
love
term.
to have people. That's
Yeah.
very short term. But after that is we're starting to build a national board, look for national donors to help continue this momentum. We're also launching a school program where we invested in a program where we can teach in the schools the power of inclusion using play.
Yeah.
So whether a school has an inclusive playground or a typical playground, we can teach kids better how to interact with each other and facilitate those relationships and friendships developing.
Yeah, so the staff of 7, you guys have a lot. So the next up is the gala, which everyone's invited to, but also you mentioned something about corporations that are involved with you, but anyone can be involved, even at a low level, as just a donor, high-level donors at the corporate level. Anyone can get involved in so many myriad of ways.
Absolutely. They can call us and say, hey, here, my child has a rare disability. We're always trying to learn, right? Volunteer with us. And of course, we love when people want to donate and help us continue our mission.
Yeah. So I love how the path of life, we can't predict it. And look at yours.
Absolutely not. You're right.
Amazing.
What a journey.
Yeah, 22
Yeah.
years building playgrounds because of Zachary, in that moment when the doctor talked to you, that was probably the shock of your life, but it was the glory of your life too. So.
All of that, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, Natalie Mackay, thank you so much for joining us today. UnlimitedPlay.org is your organization. So many ways to get in touch, and she's right here in St. Louis, which is the best part. So we love bringing our viewers great people, great inspiration right here in our own community, and Natalie is absolutely at the forefront of that. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And we thank you, our viewers, and hope that you will continue to join us on City Corner to see what else is happening right here in our own community. We'll be back next month.